So, here we are. I have completed the Dawntrail MSQ. I was lucky enough to be in a position where I could take a couple days off and just play the game. It was wonderful. So, what are my initial thoughts about the Dawntrail MSQ? Largely, it's bad. It's really, really bad at times. It definitely gets better close to the end, but the first 4 zones is probably the worst MSQ I've played. And it really pains me to say that, because as a whole, the Final Fantasy XIV story is my favorite work of fiction. I like it better than any movie, TV show, or book. I absolutely adore the MSQ. And I'm normally really good at finding the fun in the MSQ. Like, I know a lot of people didn't really like the whole Zero storyline. I thought it was fine. You know, it wasn't, you know, Shadowbringer level, but I thought that it was fine as an homage to Final Fantasy IV. I wasn't super invested in Zero's story, but I found the fun. I had a good time with it. This time around in Dawntrail, the first half of the MSQ was a struggle to get through. And I want to talk about why that is, and I want to talk about how it could have actually really easily not been bad and actually been quite good. So before we get into it, most of my criticism is from, I would say, part 1, which is anything before Heritage Found, the 5th zone. So I wrote down some notes. I'm gonna talk about it. So here we go on WordPad. So what's not so good? I know they said that, you know, we're not saving the universe. We're having lower stakes this time, but low stakes doesn't have to mean no stakes. The first half, I felt like nothing bad really happened and nothing really mattered. The Dawn Servant tells us, hey, yeah, if I don't think any of them are going to be a good leader, then like I'm not going to step down. And so the entire process is like, okay, well, who cares then? I realized very early on that during the alpaca quest, where I chose that one first, and we had to go along and barter for goods in order to get a saddle, in order to find an alpaca. And it was boring. It was just boring. And then I realized this is one of 7 of these. And in my mind, I was like, oh no, we're gonna have to do this 7 times. And it was boring. It was like, it didn't have any oomph. I wasn't interested in it. We kept meeting all of these different characters for all the different feats, and we know these characters aren't gonna come into play later. We know the alpaca NPC isn't gonna be important. We know the Hanu person that we interact with isn't gonna be important. It just turned into a drag. Number 2, focus on new characters to the old characters' detriment. The whole story is about Wuklamot. And don't get me wrong, I actually like Wuklamot. I know a lot of people don't. I liked her. I admitted to myself that, no, I like Wuklamot during the alpaca quest, right in the beginning, because they gave her a quirk. She doesn't like alpacas. You know, the alpaca spit in her face. She's a sweet, endearing, good character. There's nothing wrong with Wuklamot. The problem is all of this story is about Wuklamot, And we have all of these characters that we know and love, all the Scions, and they might as well have not been there. The story was so focused on Wuklamot that, like, you could have had the same story and have Wuklamot be traveling alone. Like, there didn't need to be any of the other characters around there. We have these huge cast of characters that we already know and love, and we want to see more of. We want to see more Alphino and Alice. We want to see more Y'shtola and Grahatia. We want to see more of all of them. And they were just kind of there in the background for like the entire time. They might as well not have been there. On that note, number 3, player character isn't important. We're the Warrior of Light, and in the last 2 expansions of Shadowbringers and Endwalker, the Warrior of Light was the main character. They were central to the plot. The plot could not have happened in Shadowbringers and Endwalker without the Warrior of Light. And this time, the Warrior of Light was a background character. It didn't matter who we were doesn't matter at all. We're just kind of there in the background. And that doesn't feel good because people love their Warriors of Light. We love being the center of attention, and everything took a backseat to Wuklamot. Okay, pacing. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I was screaming at my screen at some point with how the pacing was. Here's the best example. The first trial. I forget, Valigarmanda? I don't know how to pronounce it. The first trial. We get a message that Valigarmanda has broken free, and we're like, or at least I was like, all right, it's time for the first trial. I'm so excited. Let's do this. Let's do this trial. And then we go to where it broke free. It's not there anymore. It's like, okay, let's go do the trial. And then they make us walk a circle around the zone. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the trial. And we have to fight a sprite. And then keep walking. And I'm like, oh, I'm ready for anytime I'm ready for the trial. And then we fight a mud monster. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the trial. And then we look at a hole, walk some more. And then we look at another hole and walk some more. And I'm like, please just let me do the trial. I just want to do the trial. And then we have a cutscene with these 3 giants that I don't care about. And you know they're not going to come back later. Those aren't going to be important characters. We have this big long cutscene talking to them, asking them permission to go do this trial. And then we do the trial. And I was so excited at first to do the trial, but because they made me walk around and do stupid shit for 20 minutes, all of that excitement was replaced by annoyance. By the time I got into the trial, I wasn't excited anymore, and it sucked. I wanted to be excited. I wanted to be pumped. It's the trial. And I don't know why they did that. And that is a good example of the pacing is just awful throughout the entire thing. There's cutscenes where nothing happens. There's cutscenes like normally I when I see a cutscene, I'm excited because I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? And I learned very quickly doing the Dawntrail MSQ that, like, I don't think anything's gonna happen. You know, I got, you know, I kept going. I was level 93, nothing happens. Level 94, nothing happens. Level 95, there's this big ceremony, and I'm like, surely something's gonna happen in this ceremony, right? There's this big long ceremony. The shit's gonna hit the fan, right? I've been waiting. This is like 20 hours in the MSQ. When is the shit gonna hit the fan? It doesn't hit the fan. It's just another long cutscene where like nothing happens, and bad. And then I had to put this. Characters act stupid. Characters act really stupid. How many times was one of the villains doing something horrendous, like something really bad, and we just kind of let them walk away? We're the warrior of freaking light, and we just let them walk away. Multiple times. Like we're the warrior of freaking light, and we just stand there as people die. What? What is going on? We find the City of Gold, which is a history, worldview altering, high-tech thing that is a big deal. We find it and we're like, yay, we found it. Let's not go inside. Let's not really ask questions. I mean, we ask questions, but they're like, oh yeah, we'll tell you about that later. And before we get the answer, we're like, oh yeah, there's a desert up north. Let's go explore the desert and just forget about that super high-tech, mysterious place that we just found. Yeah, you know, that's no big deal. What? And don't get me started on the desert up north. The America Town? What was that zone? It had nothing to do with Wuklamot, and it had nothing to do with the second part. We had this big long quest chain with bandits, all leading up to some character that we don't give a shit about having a Western-style duel in the middle of town. What? Who gives a shit? Like, that is the fourth zone, and what are we doing? It was bad. So, it was bad. It was really, really bad. Now, to its credit, the fifth zone I was interested in. But the fifth zone adds intrigue. It adds characters that I want to know more about, that are mysterious. They are, I want to know more about the reflection. I want to know about the system. And admittedly, the last zone, the sixth zone, surprisingly, I felt very attached to. They did such a good job creating that zone as a zone of, I feel like everyone would feel nostalgic in that zone. And when I go to that zone now, the day after finishing MSQ, I'm sad to see all of the colors and life gone from it. That invokes sadness in me, and they did a really good job of that. So that's fine. My main concerns are really with like the first act of the MSQ, the first 3 or 4 zones. So, how would we fix this? Okay, really easily, actually. Okay, so I have a few ideas that would make this way, way, way better. So first, how to fix. 1. Give the Warrior of Light a secret mission. Okay? Imagine this. In the beginning, the Dawn Servant meets with the Scions and asks them to hunt down someone while under the guise of accompanying Wuklamot. This someone should be involved with the Golden City, like an assassin or scout from Alexandria that gets stuck on our side and is trying to get home. This makes us feel important, as we have our own knowledge and goals that other people don't. This could also add tension by simply having the assassin go after people taking on the feats in order to steal the keys. This solves a few of these issues. This adds stakes. Okay? It's not world altering, but instead of no stakes, there are some stakes. There's a mysterious character that we need to find out about. There's danger because they're trying to kill Wuklamot or the other claimants. Suddenly there's intrigue. This also makes us feel important because we have a secret mission. We have a secret mission to figure out who this person is. It's dangerous, so you know, we as the Warrior of Light are prepared to handle that. We have our own responsibility that Wuklamot doesn't know about, and so that will fix 2 of those issues. Second, we need to make the scions more involved with each feat, because most of the feats, it's Wuklamot and the people involved in whatever culture we're talking to, and the scions might as well not be there. So this is easy to fix. Add a rule that Wuklamot can only receive help from one person in each feat. This gives each scion one-on-one time with Wuklamot and gives the players time to enjoy their favorite character. For example, Alphino would be the best choice to help Wuklamot barter for goods with the alpaca quest. We still learn about the culture, we still see character development from Wuklamot, but now we enjoy a little bit of time with Alphino, and we can create relationships between those characters that we already know and love and characters that we are meeting. So we can have a relationship between Alphino and Wuklamot, because I don't know if they even they probably spoke to each other 3 times directly throughout the entire MSQ. This would give time for Alphino to shine, or whichever, have Alice help with the festival or something. This gives us time with our characters that we already know and love, all of the scions, while also not taking away from what we're trying to do, learning about each culture and Wuklamot. So that fixes number 2. And everything that I've already gone through, everything that I've suggested, we don't have to read that word for word, just those 2 things would solve the pacing. Because imagine this. Imagine there's that assassin or scout or whoever that we're trying to investigate. Wuklamot can only choose one person to help them. So in the example of the alpaca quest, Wuklamot chooses Alphino to help her barter and whatnot. And while that happens, everyone else gets to investigate what's going on with this mysterious character from Alexandria. Well, we don't know that yet. There's a bit of danger. We can do some fighting, which is a big complaint with a lot of people, is this is not a lot of action. So we can investigate that adds danger, that adds intrigue, add a little bit of that, and then we go back to Wuklamot and Alphino, near the end of the quest chain, having some time bartering and learning and all that jazz. So that pacing would be way better. We have a little bit of action, a little bit of load time where we learn some stuff, we get some character development, next quest, next feat happens, and it kind of repeats. We get a little bit of action, we find out more about whoever this assassin is, and then boom, we go back to basically what's already there. And that would be a quick fix. Just those 2 things would make the MSQ way better. And as far as characters not acting stupid, you're just gonna have to take it on a case-by-case basis and be like, don't make them do stupid stuff. Literally just don't make them do stupid stuff. If a bad guy is right in front of me and I'm the Warrior of Light, there's gotta be a reason why I don't just kick his ass, right? Give him have him teleport away or something. Don't let him just walk away. It doesn't have to be anything big. Just let them be logical characters. I think that would help a lot. That way, again, we raise the stakes, we add some intrigue, we let the old characters that we know and love interact with the new characters that we're growing to know and love. It adds importance to the main character, because we have this mission that we need to take care of that only we can take care of. Pacing is fixed, and that would help a lot. And I'm wondering, I literally was wondering who played tested this going through it, because it's just really boring until Zone 5. And it makes me really sad to say that, because I adore this game so much. Anyway, let me know what you think. I think it would be really easy to fix the MSQ. It's too late now. I mean, it's done and over with, but it just seems like if I can come up with ways to do this, surely like someone in Square Enix could. If you like my changes, let me know. If you don't, let me know. On a separate note from the MSQ, the dungeons in this expansion are fire. Oh, I think I have a dungeon. Yes, I do. All right, the dungeons in this expansion are fire, so I'm gonna go do that. Have a good one.